Hello, welcome today. I am so happy to be here. I'm excited for what I want to talk about today, and I hope that it impacts you in some way. So I'll just start with a story. For 15 years, I wanted to act. I wanted to be an actress, and my dream was Hollywood, the big stage. And I wanted to be the good actress, not the acting where you can actually tell somebody is acting. So I went out of my way, got training, did act a couple of acting classes, and it took 15 years before I actually took my first acting role. I had given up, buried this dream, and said, this is not for me, this just won't happen. And then when I just decided, let me look back maybe into this, about maybe 12, 13 years later. And about 15 years later, I landed my first acting role. And this is what I would like to talk about. So what happened was I got a call to audition. Actually, just a text message from a friend who knew I just wanted to act as a dream. So she sent me a flyer with information for an audition for a Shakespeare play, The Merchant of Venice. So I looked at it, and this was like 8 p.m. in the night, and the audition was the next day. This was actually Friday night, and the audition was Saturday afternoon. So I looked at it and I'm like, wow, this is something I could do. So I check it out. I go online, get information. I'd read The Merchant of Venice before, being a literature student in school. And so I go online, check out the characters, pick a monologue. And guess what I went for? Of course, the main character. Right? Speak about ambition, like being super ambitious. So I went for the main character and I was like, I can pull this off. Like, I feel like I've been acting all my life. I can do this. I've had some training. I can do this. Besides, I was like, no one has seen me on stage. No one has seen me in film. I'm basically a new face in this industry. So no one will know me. So I'm safe, right? I have nothing to lose. I just have to go do my best and get on with it. So I spent the most part of the night looking at this monologue. It was what monologue did I do? The Quality of Mercy by Portia, right? So I remember the first line. The quality of mercy is not strained. I don't remember that. Anyway, so I did The Quality of Mercy by Portia, rehearsed it, went in front, put my camera on, and just went through it, went in front of a mirror. And next day I was like, okay, I got this, I can do this. So I show up, I didn't know anybody there, the people welcoming. And then they usher me into the audition room. Surprise, surprise, surprise. The person who sent me the flyer, the information to come audition, was part of the panel. So this really got me, this kind of got me because I was like, oh my God, like, obviously she will not want to be on my side because then it will seem like, I know her and therefore, So that's when the nerves actually kicked in because I was like, okay, I don't know these other people, but this person I know. And I mean, contrary to what would think, like, oh, they would be on my side and what, I was a bit freaked out because I was like, what if she judges me like really harshly? So as it turned out, I got a call later that evening, and I got the role. I freaking got the role. Anyway, so I got the role of Portia, who was the main character, the lead character. So of course I was excited. And then not auditions, and then the rehearsals started. Before I knew it, we were doing table reads, and I was in a room full of actors, like real actors who had done this work, right? Not me who is new on the stage and stuff. And some of them I had actually seen on TV, So it's like, okay, Then we start the table reads, and I'm thinking these guys are really talented. The voice, the sound, the body. Oh boy, okay. I was a bit starstruck, I remember the first time. But then I was also like, oh my God, Evelyn, like, what are you doing in a room full of actors? And you're only just starting out. I remember some people asking me, have you acted before? Is this your first role? And I was like, no, this is my first role. They're like, wow, you're really good at this. It's like you've been acting all your life. And I was like, okay. Right? So on one hand, it felt good. On the other hand, it felt a bit intimidating, honestly. So we did the table reads and then we started rehearsals. And then imposter syndrome started to creep up on me. Whew. So suddenly I was like, okay, my co-actress had done so many roles and she was so good at this supporting role. And I was like, and then later I found out she actually also auditioned for the role that I had, Portia. And I was like, oh my God, like, who am I? Do I even deserve this role? Do I deserve to be here? And then slowly by slowly, I started sabotaging myself. And you know, the way sabotage, self-sabotage creeps up on you is so not obvious. And yet, somehow, to an extent, your mind knows what's happening, but then your mind is also supporting it. Like, well, and somehow unconsciously, you don't want to admit that I think I'm actually trying to sabotage this. Ever feel like that? Ever been in a place like that? So that's where I was. And so I started to come late. And thing is, you don't necessarily be like, I'm going to be late. It's just, oh, what time is rehearsal? Rehearsal is at 3 p.m. Okay, so suddenly at 2 is when you get so busy, is when somehow the child needs attention, somehow, okay, you need to fix this before you go. Somehow I need to, then a phone call comes in, and it's like all this stuff is happening to kind of keep you around so that by the time you get there, you're like, oops, oh my God, it's already 3. I haven't left. Oh, I'm like on the way. Oh, it's 2:30 and I need to be on my way. And before I knew it, I was getting late. My tardiness was like a bit constant, like 3 times in a row. And reach there, energy is low, and I just want to take the back seat suddenly, and little things. And oh boy. So this one time I go for rehearsal and the director is like, I'd like you to switch roles. Evelyn, could you do Nerissa's part? Nerissa was the other role, the one my co-actress was doing. Evelyn, could you do Nerissa's role? Sarah, could you take Portia's role? So we switch roles and she does Portia really good, so good that I was also like, oh my God, like, girl, you should be doing this part, not me. So we do that and then we do it. The director makes us do it 2-3 times. He was like, yeah, I think I like it that way. Evelyn, just go rehearse Nerissa's part. Sarah, do Portia's part. I was like, okay. Now a part of me was like, okay, I think this is less in the, light. But also, I just lost something precious, right? Because I wanted this role. I felt good about this role. It validated me as an actor. It validated my desire to act and the fact that I could actually act. I mean, I got the lead role at my first audition. So a part of me felt bad, and a little part of me was kind of like, yeah, at least we'll be a little bit in the background. We won't have to, carry the cast, carry the lead role, and which happens especially in stage acting and in film that goes on for a while. Usually the lead character sort of sets the energy for the room, the energy for the cast. and they feel it. They feel it. If you've been in environments where you know you're acting and you have to do a role for a while, an extended period of time, you lean on the lead actor kind of for energy. They set the pace basically. So I was like, okay, at least so much doesn't have to fall on me, and then I can kind of be in the background. But then also this character wasn't necessarily in the background 100%. So I was like, well, it's not the lead role after all, right? But then also I was grieving. A part of me was grieving this loss. I wanted to be this person. I wanted to carry this role. But my body, my neurology wasn't ready for it. And so I started to self-sabotage. And then I got reassigned a different role. So of course later, it took me a while, I don't remember, 2+ weeks to kind of settle and really embrace this character, Nerissa, this new character. And once I did, I fell into it. I loved it. I was like, yeah, I think this was written for me. I shone in it, or I shined in it. We got to stage days, what was it? Opening night. And then we did I think we did 12 shows in total, 8 or 12, I don't remember. But we did 8+ shows in total. And gosh, this was my first role as an actor on stage. Guys, if you can act on stage, you can act anywhere. Because stage basically gives you live feedback. You see the audience's reaction. Right after you get off stage, you have people giving you feedback. Film, I mean, you're in front of the film, you could be having a bad day and come and do the makeup and then do exercises and stuff, and then you're in the role, right? And then you film a bit and then go, and then there's editing and stuff. But stage, dude. So that really validated me as an actress. I remember after that, I did another acting program, an intensive acting program, and then booked a couple of acting jobs after that. I even did a film role. It was exciting. I did voice acting after that. I did radio drama. Woo! It was beautiful. It was such... It was good. Yeah, but why am I telling this story? I want to highlight just the two main things I spoke about, which is self-sabotage and imposter syndrome. One of the things I mentioned was self-sabotage literally creeps up on you. Like sometimes you unconsciously know you're sabotaging yourself, but consciously you think you're doing what's best for you. Or you're like, no, I think I'm protecting myself. Or maybe it's not the right time, and you give yourself all these excuses, whether it's in a role, in employment, and maybe you have a promotion coming up, and you come up with all these excuses. Maybe maybe you have the wrong person, or I have another job. Then you start even applying for different jobs, or you're like, I still have so much to do. I would like to cover this work before I consider another role. And you basically come up with reasons, excuses to not take up the position, to not be considered for promotion. And all of those are like little subtle ways that we self-sabotage. The other thing is that your mind, your body will never take you to where your mind hasn't been. Like literally, take an example. Take for instance, if you were going out to the market to buy groceries, like your mind would literally map out the route you're going to take, probably even see yourself in the different aisles. If you're going to use a supermarket, if you're going to the supermarket, see yourself in the different aisles. This is where I'm going to go, this is what I'm going to pick. Your mind literally goes ahead of you, and then your body follows. That is what usually happens. Now in this case, I was ready. At least my body felt ready, because I felt like I'd been acting all my life, different roles growing up in my family. Like you literally had to put in a certain act to really survive, and just in different places, in different spaces, and then some of the acting classes I had done. So I felt like this was meant for me. Like, I want to be an actress. I have trained to be an actress. I am an actress, so let's do this. But my mind had only gone a certain distance. It couldn't carry me all the way because I didn't actually see myself carrying the cast, carrying this role all the way through. My mind got me there, but I hadn't trained it, programmed it, prepared it enough to take me all the way. Which is another thing I just want to say. What got you the role won't keep you in the role. What got you the job may not necessarily keep you in the job. We go to school, we study, we train and stuff, and then we get into the actual role of the job. And you find that things are different. So your learned concepts in school are not enough to sustain you in the actual job, in the actual role, because now you have organization politics to deal with. You have to understand and deal with setting boundaries. You have to deal with your self-confidence when you're presenting, maybe to a team or stuff. And you have to deal with how do I deal with a coworker, with a difficult coworker? How do I communicate with my boss? How do I write an email to, you have different things you have to learn and certain things you have to unlearn for you to be able to continue in this job and just basically develop yourself as a person, as a character in this job, in this workplace. So what got you the role won't keep you in the role. And what I said before, your mind will have to go there first before your body actually takes you there. So in our training, which brings me back to coaching, what happens in personal development is that it's not a one-time thing. Just because I dealt with this specific trauma, now therefore I'm good to go, I can face everything, I can face anything, is not necessarily the truth. Because there are different programs at work in us. There are different perceptions, roles, identities, experiences, opinions, beliefs, that we deal with every day. So every day is a constant process of growth. Every day is a new page you open. And then you're like, okay, we dealt with this yesterday. What is standing in our way today? What is it we need to deal with today? Is it my tardiness I need to work with? The behavior that I'm portraying is just constantly coming late. What is behind this? Why am I doing this? What is happening underneath of this? So when we start to uncover those pages and just deal with things every day, then effortlessly, unconsciously, we are growing in a certain area. So 1 year down the road, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is where I am. I don't even remember, and I cannot recognize the person I was when I first, joined this company or came into this role, because you have gone through a constant, consistent process of self-growth, of personal development, of first of all, self-awareness, and then personal development, dealing with those areas that need growth, dealing with changing a behavior, dealing with understanding systems and programs that work in you, and basically working with them, dealing with them, facing your fears, understanding them, learning how to cope with them, learning how to, not just to cope, but to deal with them so that they're not standing in your way. So I hope you enjoyed my story as much as I enjoyed telling it. Yeah, it was exciting just walking down that road again. Yeah. What are some ways you've sabotaged yourself? Talk to me in the comments, send me an email. What are some of the ways, the things that you've recognized that were patterns of self-sabotage in your life? Where are the places that that imposter syndrome has shown up in your life, that you feel like, I don't deserve to be here, or somebody else is good for the role, is better suited for the role, for the job, for the position, and it's not me? And what have you done to overcome some of those? I'd like to know. And if imposter syndrome or self-sabotage is something that you constantly see coming up for you and that is holding you back from progress, from stepping into your purpose, from walking into your destiny and living the life that you were created to live, please reach out. Please reach out. Please reach out, book a coaching session with me and just get some help. Just whatever you do, deal with it. Because honestly, certain things we ignore in the, infant stages, but these things actually grow. They add up, they stack up. And before you know it, you're like, oh boy, I'm literally shaking, going to work. I don't enjoy going to work anymore. Or, and life is just such a drag. I don't feel like I deserve to be here. And before you know it, you just start spiraling in a pattern of, not enjoying life, depression and stuff. And so reach out and let's deal with it now. There's no better time than now. Yeah. So thank you for watching again. Thank you for watching. I hope this was fun for you. I hope this was valuable to you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.